Hello, and welcome to the Abunden YouTube channel. Today, we're going to talk about powering sales growth using a business operating system. So why would somebody use a business operating system? Well, picture someone starts a company, maybe they're a really good salesperson or they're really good at the technology, and the company does great. It grows and it grows from a few people to all of a sudden they've got a couple dozen people. And now that founder, instead of doing the sales or the technology they really enjoy, they find themselves spending all their time managing people. And this is causing them stress, and the company's not growing as fast anymore, and there's frustration building up. So the business operating system brings a solution to that and lets the company start growing again, as well as letting that founder move back to the sales or technology or whatever it is that they really enjoy and do best. So how does that work? Well, a business operating system is building the systems, processes that allow the company to communicate, build teams so they can grow to the next level. So one of the things to keep in mind is that every business really has an operating system. And what we're talking about are the formal operating systems. But the most common operating system, the way companies are just run naturally, if it's a small company, is like a starfish. A starfish has legs pointing out in all directions, but none of the legs touch each other, but they all touch the middle. So the middle is that founder, and the founder is talking to the various legs, which are the sales, it's the operations, it's the accounting, it's whatever pieces of the company are going through that founder and not going to communicate directly with each other. And that works great for a small company with a handful of people. But once you get beyond, a dozen people, something like that, it really breaks down. Communication is not as effective and decisions don't get made quickly or well. On the other hand, you've got something that's more like a commune where we all get together and make decisions. And that can actually work quite well in a small scale, but it doesn't grow very well. On the other hand, you've got bureaucracy. And so that's something where we've got a rule for everything and everything's got a rule. And that's good for controlling large organizations, but it is not good for small organization. It's not a very enjoyable place to work, and it's definitely not going to grow a company. So the formal business operating system is what we're talking about for solving the problems that that founder of the company has. So how does it do that? Well, at a high level, you've got people, and anytime you've got people, you've got issues. And we need to prioritize what issues to work on, to figure out how to make decisions, how to do this in a way that motivates people, because we need motivated people to get work done, be cost effective, and grow the company. So if we grow the company, wow, that could be a good thing. So what I've seen when we implement some kind of business operating system, move from the starfish type model to a formal business operating system, is that within a 2 to 3 year period, it's very common for revenue to double, for the net margin, the bottom line, to grow on a percentage basis, which means the total profits of the company are much larger, allowing the business value to grow even faster than revenue has grown. And that can mean a huge, huge value for that company. So what are the parts of this operating system? Well, again, at a fairly high level, I've identified 9 different pieces that would be part of a common business operating system. The first one is vision. That's looking out and saying, where are we going to be in 10 years? What's our mission? How do we make decisions in a fairly broad sense of the word? The next one would be metrics. How do we measure? We have a scorecard, key performance indicators, other types of measures. Docs or documentation. how are we going to write down the procedures, the processes, so that we've got repeatable processes that are just hugely valuable for growing a company. Issues, as we said earlier, when you've got people, you've got issues. And so we need to have a way to process those issues to get the communication and make good decisions. And tied to that is the priority. How are we having meetings? How often are we having the meetings? How do we get the communication consistently so we can process those issues and make good decisions? And all these things we've been talking about need people. So you've got to go out and identify good people, recruit those people, hire them, train the people, and then motivate those people. And then in some cases, if they don't work out, we need to let those people go. We need processes, we need some kind of operating system to help us do that. And all these decisions we're talking about goes to the limits. Limits help us know if a $5 decision needs to be made by a lower level person or if it needs to be made by the CEO. Same thing, can a first level supervisor make a multi-million-dollar decision, or does that need to be much higher up in the management of the company? Limits are the tools that let us know who can make decisions and who needs to pass that decision up to someone higher. Listening. We've got people, we need to listen to them. We need to get the information. We need to build a relationship with them. And there's tools to help us do that more effectively. And so we can train the people who are coming up in the organization to do that effectively. Fantastic tool for building the teamwork, which is the next piece on our list. And so building teams allows us to have people who are motivated, engaged in what they're doing, and create something that's greater than the sum of the parts of all their work. So we make even better decisions and get more done as a team. So these are the pieces, components of typical business operating systems. So what are some examples of business operating systems? Well, EOS, or the Entrepreneurial Operating System, is the most common, widely known, widely publicized operating system in the market today. And it's a very solid operating system, highly recommended, but it's not the only one out there. Scaling Up is another one. Market-based management, or MBM, is another well-known one. And there's some that are somewhat less known, and there's even more out there besides this. So how do we compare these? Well, here's a quick chart. Got to have your chart, right? We've got this chart that helps us understand that not every business operating system has every one of these components, and that's fine. And what's important is finding which system fits for you at your stage of the company. And I'm going to run through each one of these, going to run through them pretty quickly and talk about them briefly. If you want more information on a specific business operating system, we'll have other videos that will talk in depth about each one of these. First, let's talk about the Entrepreneurial Operating System. You can learn more about that with the book Traction. And EOS is, like you can see from the vertical oval, that it covers what I would consider the 6 base issues that are really core to a company that's new to a business operating system, wants to get something in place. And I've highlighted in particular the People Analyzer. I think this is a really strong, innovative piece of the EOS operating system that you should be aware of. Another tool, another business operating system that is very good for companies that are new to using a business operating system is Scaling Up. It's also the Rockefeller Habits 2.0. And it's got the 6 core pieces. And one of the aspects of it that I think is particularly strong is the daily huddles. And so that's something that's not in EOS. And again, this is a situation where you want to find what fits best for the needs of your company. Market-based management is based on the experience of Koch Industries, which has been phenomenally successful over the last 40 plus years. The book Science of Success has been written by one of the principals of the company. And one of the tools that they focus on that I think is particularly noteworthy is decision rights. Who can make decisions and how they make those decisions. So excellent piece. You'll notice there's some gaps in docs and issues. So this system, the market-based management system, assumes that those types of issues are already covered, so they don't spend a lot of time on those issues. High output management is also based on this, another phenomenally successful company, Intel. Andy Grove, one of the founders and president of Intel, he wrote this book and highlighted the particular areas of objectives and key results. He's the one that popularized this, and later it became the subject of a number of other books just focusing on objectives and key results. So fantastic tool set there. Requisite Organization, based on the book of the same name, is a very different approach. This one is not quite as holistic as the other ones, but it does a really, really fantastic job of helping you as you're growing, put the right people, build the right type of hierarchy of management structure, and getting those people in place so they can make the right decisions and measure the right things. So Gallup, if you're familiar with surveys, the Gallup survey, very widely known. One of the books they've written is called It's the Manager. And this system focuses very much on the kind of softer skills, the softer part of management, as opposed to what we're going to measure and how we're going to document things. And coaching is very central to what they're talking about. And so that's something I really highlight here. Great supplement to some of the other systems. And the Abunden Framework. The Abunden Framework is designed to scale more than some of the other systems. And some of the things that it does bring other pieces from other sources besides those listed in the previous slides. Listening and teams are the two areas that the Abunden Framework really focuses on. It's been very successful in helping a number of companies in a wide range of industries outperform their industries. So that's a bit about the Abunden Framework. So we've got all these different business operating systems. And so we've decided to pick one of these and move forward with that. What's the key to making it work? Well, no matter which one of these systems that you're using, getting the buy-in from the ownership is absolutely critical. Related to that is the pace of change. The faster we can change behaviors, the more quickly we can get results. And that is a top-down, that flows from the top down, which kind of brings up the question of what is the founder's role now with this new operating system. So based on the book Rocket Fuel, which is tied to the EOS system, they've identified two different roles that use different titles than the traditional president CEO type titles. One is the visionary and the other is the integrator. The visionary is that long-term thinker that really sees opportunities, thinks outside the box, but does not enjoy the actual management tasks of holding people accountable, being in meetings. All those things are frustrating to a traditional visionary. The only real management duty that the visionary has is to hold the integrator accountable for their responsibilities. The integrator, on the other hand, is going to manage all the sales, operations, finance, pretty much the whole business, and report to the visionary, work very closely with the visionary. And the integrator will hold all these people accountable to get things done. So wrapping it up from there, if you have any questions or comments, please put them in the comments section below. We'll have additional links in the text below. And please remember to subscribe to the Abunden YouTube channel.